So, Josef, Joseph, you mentioned that you were known by your number.
Yeah, okay. Even the number didn't count,
So, and then what happened? You, in Montreal, did you?
In Montreal, in the early, not even before Montreal, in Colombia, when I lived in Colombia. And I was that's hot there, short leave. Everybody asked me, what is this? What did you do? At the time, it wasn't known. People didn't know about it. So I figured, what do I need it for? Had an operation, cost me money to take it off.
And just with a...
Yeah.
And just, did you remember the number?
Of course I remember.
What was the number?
85,314. How could I forget it? I lived with that. Was me. 85,390.
And do you regret that you had it taken off?
I regret because I did a lot of things that I regret. Shouldn't have done it. You get smarter later,
Wow.
You can sit down if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. Baruch Hashem. Yeah. This. Anyways, my wife. Yeah, I had no family. I was the only one. There's no one in the world that I had anybody. So, but my wife had. She was. They were not in the Holocaust. They were in Colombia. And my father-in-law brought constantly in families, brothers, all the brothers. Not all of them want to come. He insisted on them to come, so he brought in 4 brothers and several sisters. Some lived in. Didn't come to Colombia. Some went to Toronto. Anyways, my father-in-law came to Palestine with a brother-in-law when they were young. Just got married or something, left the wives. They had to leave because there was a compulsory military service in Poland. They didn't want to go to the army. So they went to Palestine. It was hard to get to Palestine. The British, so they went to Damascus. There was no problem to go to Syria. Went to Damascus, and from Damascus they took some donkeys and they rode down to, that was the story. And my father-in-law couldn't take it here. It was impossible, unlivable. The malaria and the terrible heat and sand and terrible. And the brother-in-law, Chaim Perl, there were 2 sisters. They married 2 sisters. Chaim Perl decided to stay here. He went to Bnei Brak, founded Bnei Brak with a group of people. They founded Bnei Brak. They named it Bnei Brak at that spot there. He was one of the founders. I have a book from him. Okay, so once I came to visit, I'm talking about I regret things. Mm-hmm. Once I came to visit him, that was in 1950. In January 1950. I came actually in December 1945, in 49, I'm sorry, and stayed here over the Goyish New Year's, So we're sitting there, we're drinking lemonade, whatever, and then he says to me, "Oh, it's time to go for mincha." So we went down there with a little stable, whatever, without mincha there. And then he says to me, "Yosel, come, let's go into the Rebbe, let's say Shalom Aleichem." I said, "Leave me alone. I don't want to." So I didn't know who the Rebbe was. I found out a little later who the Rebbe was, and I regret this till this very day that I didn't go in to say hi. And that was Chazon Ish.
Wow.
Yeah. So other yom I regret I didn't know. I didn't know when I came from the concentration camps and all that. How would I didn't know any gedolim. I didn't know. I was a young boy when I came in. And when I came out, I had other problems, other things to do. I had a Nazi business to be busy. I was busy in Poland with children to say that I couldn't. So I regret till this very day. Then I found out who the Chazon Ish was. Anyway, yeah, I had a few of those things that you can't go back in time.
It's true.
It's over. That's it. So, yeah. So Baruch Hashem, here we are. I was just talking with my son. We were talking about, because he has his son here, my great grandson. He's dating already for a little while. I said, so I mean, I'm not pressing. But they know each other over 6 months from before the Yom Naruim, you know. About time, now you're schlepping around. Either it is yes. What is the rush? You ask the father asked the son. So what? Said, what is the rush? That's today's generation. What's the rush? There's no rush, but people have to come to some conclusions. You know, you can't always. Yeah.
But you don't have regrets that you came.
The what?
You don't have regrets you made Aliyah and you've came.
I have regret that I made Aliyah. I should have come earlier.
Wow.
That is the regret. I should have come earlier when I had my wife still. I would be the happiest person in the world if I had my wife with me.
Yeah.
There would be no one would be happier than me. But
Baruch Hashem, you're here.
Baruch Hashem, yeah, Won't don't take her away ahead of time. Well, what can we do? So Baruch Hashem, I came. Yes. My children, everybody, my grand, everybody was against it. What are they going to do alone there? What are they not alone there? I said, don't worry. I was many times alone. Yeah. Alone in concentration camps, alone after the concentration camps. Even when I migrated to Brazil and then Argentina, I was always alone. I had friends. When I came here, I was alone. But all the neighborhood is my friends here.
It's true. I asked somebody and they said they directed me exactly where to go.
They are all my friends. Everybody is my friend here. It's unbelievable. For Shabbos, I had. Today I'm restricting my invitations. I only go where there was a couple, 2 people. But for every Shabbat, I had 5, 6, 7, many invitations. I had to decline. I had to pick one. I said, I'll take a rain check. We'll take it next time. So, yeah, Baruch Hashem. And today, even with couples, I have a smaller group, but I have a lot of friends. People ask me, for this Shabbos, I had 3 invitations. I had to pick one only. One for Friday night and one for tomorrow. Baruch Hashem.
And when you're invited to go to Poland, you always accept the invitation to go with groups?
Not always, but there's a few organizations that I went with them. There's I don't even know their names. And when I came to Poland, the other groups came there from many places. So they always invited me to talk to their groups without going for that purpose, you know. Schools came from New York, from New Jersey, from different places, Baltimore. So yeah, there was a group from France. I didn't go with a French group, but I went with one of the Israelis from England, with J-Roots or Jewish Future or Maor. So it's a different organization. So while in Poland, there were other groups that they joined us, and they wanted me to speak to them too. So they wherever we went to the concentration camps and to all those historical places, so they all went, they all joined, to hear, to see. Yeah, I was happy to do it for them. Now it's everybody sits put, nobody goes nowhere. Poland is deserted. I'm not sorry about them, but Auschwitz every day were thousands and thousands of people in Auschwitz. Buses, dozens of buses, hundreds of cars, the whole parking. If you were there,
I was there.
Packed. So sometimes there's a lot of walking to do. So I asked them to have a wheelchair. I can't walk so much. So they had a wheelchair. So the police had to come out to open certain places for wheelchairs, not to stay in line, not to go there. So they came the policeman there and opened. I speak the language. So I said, hello. So he introduced himself. I said, I'm the chief of the police. Oh, nice to meet you. Then he told me, what is today a special day? I see so many people. What's happening today? So I said, today, every day is like this. Every day, thousands and thousands of people. Yeah, people come. People that have no shaykhs to anything that has to do with Judaism. Because Auschwitz is known as an extermination camp, Birkenau as an extermination camp for Jews. They didn't take to the gas chambers there any others but Jews. But if you read the signs there, 1.5 million Polish people were exterminated here. I went into the office and I asked that supervisor, I said, tell me, no, there was no Jewish people here that they exterminated? Of course. You say it, Polacks. We don't discriminate. It was our citizens, Polish citizens. We don't discriminate Jews or from they're our people. So that's how they try to, little by little, trying to, to erase and forget, and many concentration camps don't exist anymore. Where I went to, for the movie, we went to revisit places don't exist anymore. A military base. The town has sold lots. They built beautiful houses in Ebensee concentration camp. Beautiful, nice streets, gardens, flowers, beautiful. Okay, yeah. The arches left at where the gate used to be. I made a bruch there. Because there I was liberated, walked out from that place. That's yeah. So what can we? So we talked to people. We said, "Zuchor val tishkach," remember, don't forget. And we say never again. But it's happening all in different places again. People are killing people. People are there are a lot of hatred in the world now. The right and the left and this and that. In the left themselves they're fighting. In the right they're fighting inside. It's fights everywhere. And people hate everywhere. And how can we get, how could HaKadosh Baruch Hu look upon our world and be happy? He created such a beautiful world. And he sees that people, he said, we have to l'rachu k'moicha. And he sees that everybody hates everybody. He said, I don't like that world. So he sent us a sign, a pandemic, that we should wake up, or we should try to decode, see what's wrong with us. he would like to see a better world. No, I cannot change the world.
And Josef, can I ask, how do you feel about the International Criminal Court? They now want to try Israel for alleged war crimes.
What else is new? They always hate us. There's now is an excuse, not Jews hating. They're not hating Jews, they're hating Israel. They find all kind of things, racism, they will, the apartheid, whatever. Apartheid, you have the Arabs in the Knesset, lawmakers, you have Arabs living here in the city, wherever they want to rent an apartment, they can rent an apartment. They have the money they want, like the Jewish people, same thing. They want to buy an apartment, he will not sell them, of course he would sell them.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's nothing new, and there is a cloud, there is a general rule, Ace of Son Eliyahu. They, no matter what, there's always a reason to hate Jews, and that is the norm. Always happened. Go back to history, you'll see constantly the same thing happening.
Is Ein Chadash Tachat Hashemesh.
Nothing, all the same.
It's all the same.
The Crusaders, the Romans, the Babylonians, every the Inquisition, whatever pogroms constantly. In our modern time, not my time, but my father's, my Zayda, they talked about the pogroms, that they were constantly beaten up by the Cossacks, by the Russians, by the others, by the Ukrainians, the terrible haters. Ukraine is terrible Jew haters. They all collaborated with the Nazis in the Ukraine. It's a big country, it's a small thing. Baruch Hashem, we're here, and here we are, and hopefully we will stay here. Ad Shi'u Bez Mashiach will come. We're not going nowhere. And with the Arabs, the same thing happened. We have to find a solution how to live with them, because they're going nowhere and we are going nowhere. We are stuck here. So we should find a modus vivendi, accommodation somehow to, that's it. Yeah.
Tadarabah, really, thank you so much. And when you went to Poland, you always did it voluntary?
Oh, not a single shekel. In my whole work, there's not a single shekel involved. Not one shekel, nothing. People wanted so many times to pay me that. No, just do it voluntarily, not for money. For money, I was working when I worked, had to make parnos, had to educate children, had to bring them up, had to send them to Israel, had to send them to camps in summer, had to send them to yeshivas, had to send them to universities. So for that I worked. I had a family and an open house, and people came and always invited people and friends and the children's friends, and at the open house always we had people. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Good zechronos, good remembrances, you know. Like I said before, if I would only have my wife here, I'll be the happiest person. Baruch Hashem, I'm happy as much as I can, and I'm talking to people, I'm giving many interviews, I'm giving many speeches and lectures, and even to the army. A general wanted to see me, and made an appointment 3 months ago. Before, he had to change his one day for another day. He came, and came with a major, our lady, a major, interviewed me, and I asked him, "What do you need to?" Gave me. I'll show you what he brought me. So I asked him, what do you need to know my history? What do you know? Why do you need it? So he explained me why he needs it. So I understood. He brought me this.
Sure, this is wonderful.
Yeah, and here he signed whatever. I can't. Yeah. So that's.
And what did he explain you why he needed?
Yeah, he explained me. I have another one. This is also something involved with different organizations.
It's also from the army.
Yeah. But there's other organizations here. Also, the army is also take part in it, you know.
And Josef, what did he mention? He felt that it's important to meet and to hear firsthand.
It was very important for him to meet, he says, because once there is a Medina,
A state.
if, God forbid, anywhere in the world, it will happen anything against Jews, something terrible, something will be there. It won't happen again. We won't, not, like we say, never again. That's what, so I have to learn, because he is the one that lectures officers and he runs that sort of, he said when in Entebbe it was the problem, we were there. Where else? He explained me a few places wherever it was trouble for Jews, we were there. God forbid it will happen anywhere or something, we'll be there. So I have to tell those officers, those commanders, how important it is that we should be there. So that's why he wanted to, like an hour and a half or more, he was sitting with me taking pictures, and I have some pictures, but I don't know where to find them even. I have so many. I have books, albums, so many of them. Baruch Hashem, I have letters and emails that the organizations compact them and yeah, Baruch Hashem. Yeah. So that's it.
Well, thank you so very much, Bemet. I so appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And you should just have health, mazel, brocha, and nachas from your family.
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Yeah. Have a